What is up, YouTube? It is your boy Sanchez 405 coming at you on the Warpath. It's Warpath Wednesday, y'all, live after a victory against the St. Louis Rams of Los Angeles. Redskins come out 27-20 victors. And that one, we'll go into that in a little bit here. We got Amir here for the first time on Warpath Wednesday. Amir, what is up, my man?
Hey, what is up, guys? This is the executive producer, Amir here. Just a quick little, get some business started out here. Our boy Sanchez 405 is growing up. A huge congratulations to him. He has decided to sign away his life and pop the question to his long-term girlfriend. So, congratulations to you, Sanchez.
I appreciate that. Thank you, my friend. I really do. So it's a double whammy for me. Skins win, and then I got to win on Sunday as I proposed to my girlfriend. So that was really fun, and I thank you, sir, for that. Oh, excuse me. But in going into the segue to this game, Amir, I always tell you this. If you don't turn the ball over, you convert on third downs. And then you, what else do? You get a good passer rating and everything like that. You're going to win ball games. The third down conversion, didn't win that. But you did win the time of possession. The Redskins I think it was about 13 minutes more than what the Rams had, as the teacher schools the student in Jay Gruden and Sean McVay's first tilt as head coaches against each other. I love the running game. I hated the quarterback play. I was encouraged by the defensive play at times. And I think that the Rams game in week 1 was an anomaly. And I think the Redskins took advantage of that, and they showed out really well, jumping out to a 10-point lead early, but kind of got a little Redskin-ish and let them get back in the game.
Yes, definitely so. I mean, it was definitely a good showing as far as the ground game is considered. There was 36 runs to 30 passes, over 200-something yards on the ground for us, which is
unheard of
in over a year. And the passing game really didn't get started until that last drive, and they were able to hit Ryan Gruden for a corner touchdown.
Yeah, and we actually got a comment on that. Somebody asked who the heck was Ryan Gruden, and it's Ryan Grant. But if you're on Twitter and you know Scott McCloughan, the former GM, he actually coined Ryan Grant as Ryan Gruden. Who, if you like it or if you don't like it, Ryan Gruden is Grant is playing really well for the Skins this year in the receiving category. I mean, I think he's doing a lot better than Terrell Pryor with all that money that was spent on him. He's the third leading receiver on the team. Yeah, Butterfingers McGee over there. That big frame and no catch to him. That's true. I think he only had 2 catches on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, I think it was 1 for 3.
Yep, he had 2 catches for 31 yards. Look like preseason numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ridiculous that this guy who was supposed to Terrell Pryor, he's amazing in camp, and just no, and Josh Jackson's not Kelly 2.0, and we need better. Can we make a trade for Garcon? I mean, can we?
Nah.
Would you trade for Garcon?
No, I wouldn't trade for that contract. I'm sorry. I wouldn't trade for it at this point. I do see where you're getting at there. And then it's just like the passing game has just been ineffective, whether it's the receivers, whether it's Kirk Cousins, Cousins had another pedestrian, like he put together Josh McCown numbers, 18 of 27, buck 79, and 1 touchdown. This is like a high school team who runs the ball like 30 on 30 attempts. It just was not NFL caliber quarterbacking. He fumbled the ball. He put the ball on the turf twice, and they were both recovered. I can sit here and scrutinize them all. The most important thing is they won the game. And there was a lot of conversation in the live stream. There were a lot of comments about Kirk Cousins, how he plays, how he performs. So I decided to do this. I'm going to use this very, very difficult scale. It has 2 options on it. After every game, I will evaluate it to my heart's contention, and I'll let you join in on it as well too. Should the Redskins re-sign Kirk Cousins? Right now, I say, and I love Kirk Cousins to death. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a great. Yep. I think he's a great quarterback. I think he's a great guy. I think he does great things. But no, I don't think the way he's performing, he's not a $24 million quarterback. He might be a $24 quarterback, but he's not a $24 million quarterback. Hell, I wouldn't even pay $24 to see that, because I could go and get a free quarterback on Madden to play worse than that. And, right. But the running game came alive, though. Chris Thompson, Rob Kelly, before he got hurt, oh my God, he cracked a rib. But, he played really, really well. Samaje Perine, he's got to get to the second level. 21 rushes for 67 yards. So that's just about 2 yards a pop. Got to do a whole lot better than that. And I've never seen a Jay Gruden running back, as long as he's been in Washington, run the ball 21 times. I can probably put money on that. And Samaje Perine did that. And right. I was shocked to see that stat line. And my big question is, with the running backs now, when does Chris Thompson become the feature back?
I don't think his role is going to change. His role is going to stay the same as the third down back and just that home hitter. They would be foolish to make him just the feature back, just for him to be an every down back. His body is not going to be able to take that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But now, what I would like to see is, if Rob's not able to go Sunday night, I would like to see Mac Brown get the start.
He probably will be at yeah.
I would like to start there, and then of course go on from there in the rotation.
Right.
Hopefully Kelly will be able to play, but it is a fractured rib. It's better than a bruised rib, but it's still it's gonna hurt like hell.
Right. Yeah, and that pain was really strong on him. That he didn't even come back in that game. So hopefully we can see him. Maybe Rob Kelly understood what he did, how the game went against Philadelphia, and he had to come out there. I don't know if it was a product of a poor defense from the Rams. I'll say that Rob Kelly got the message, and so did the running backs. Also, the receiving corps got to pick up their game. You can't play this slow-paced ball against this Oakland Raiders team coming in here, which we'll get into towards the end of the video. Jordan Reed, he is day-to-day. I think he had a chest contusion, if I'm not mistaken.
SC joint sprain, which is the joint between your clavicle and your sternum.
Okay. And that was another thing. We had some people on there, and I actually went out and asked this question to folks that I know. The S word in describing Jordan Reed. SOFT. soft. I think soft is a state of mind, and if I'm wrong, stop me. Soft is a state of mind. I think you can be fragile and be a tough person. I just think body-wise, you can be fragile, but be a tough-minded person. And anybody who calls Jordan Reed soft, I think that they missed that Thanksgiving game. And it's no offense. People have their opinions and everything, but I just thought that was really interesting. And I kind of thought that, I always thought of soft. When you think of soft, you think of Todd Pinkston, state of mind when, Sean Taylor was coming at him back in 2004 on a Sunday night. He stopped. That's your state of mind doing that to you. You look at some of these running backs today. They're soft and mentally, not physically. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Am I wrong, or am I maybe
I don't think you're
being
exactly
apologetic?
wrong. I don't think you're exactly right. I think he is a little soft because the Shanahans, when they drafted him, they were trying to coach him to play through the pain, and which is something that you have to do at the NFL level at times. You have to just because I got a boo boo, I can't play now. No, don't work like that. And he finally last year finally got it.
Mm-hmm.
But he can play through the pain. And I do applaud him for coming back in, at least as a decoy. Where's Vernon Davis been? That's what I want to know.
Right.
Vernon Davis, he had, I think, one catch on Sunday for 13 yards.
And
I don't believe he had any targets in the first game.
I don't know, but we need to get that. We need to get that VD out there.
We need to get the VD out there. That's right.
Yes.
We have to get the passing game going at some point. It's ridiculous that Jay Gruden, who is this offensive genius, supposedly, which
easy with that term. I hate that term. Don't say genius.
Savant.
He's an offensive-minded coach. Don't call him genius. Look at McAdont in New York. He's not an offensive genius. I don't think.
I never thought McAdont was an offensive genius.
Yeah, I mean that term. I hate that term. I hate using offensive genius. If he's an offensive genius, he would have won a Super Bowl as an offense coordinator by now. He's got arena titles to him, so he couldn't even win in the UFL. So easy with that term.
All right, got it. That is like saying the word Voldemort around you.
Yes, it really is. It's just an ugly term. Don't use it like I mean, genius is thrown around so much, like the word cool or awesome. Bill Belichick is a genius. Is he a cheater? Yes, but he's a genius because he's found a way around it. Jay Gruden, he's an offensive-minded coach, a decent one at that. He was a good he was a great arena player. Offensive genius. Come on now. The man was offensive coordinator in Cincinnati. Genius, but I'm going off topic on that, so I apologize, but I'll let you finish your thought there.
So Jay Gruden, being the offensive-minded person that he is.
Yes, there we go. I like that.
Being the offensive-minded person that he is, I just don't see why the offense is looking. The third-rate offense last year is just looking so pedestrian, and it just can't be because we lost Garcon and Jackson. It just can't be because of those two. Makes sense. I mean,
but you know what it is?
Were they 40% of the offense? Yes, but it doesn't even look like 60% of the offense out there. It looks like 20% of it.
Sean McVay. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. I told you I'd be coughing through that.
Good?
Yeah, I'm good. Sean McVay.
Nicola.
But I think that the thing is that I think Sean McVay was more valuable to this team than it may have been let on, because you look at it. Jay called the plays in 14, if I'm not mistaken. He was the primary play caller. They didn't have a quarterbacks coach. McVay doubled as a quarterbacks coach and the offensive coordinator. We saw how that didn't work. He delegated play calls to Sean McVay. While Sean McVay neglected to run the ball, the offense was efficient. So I think that Sean had a lot to do with how the offense is running. And you got to think about it. He was with Kirk Cousins in some capacity from the time he was a rookie till last year. Mm-hmm. Whether he was a tight ends coach in Washington, where he was offensive assistant before then, he worked with Kirk Cousins in some form or fashion, and you can't just build a rapport with somebody. Granted, it's been 4 seasons, but that's like an extra 2 seasons there, so it's like 6 seasons that he actually had with Kirk Cousins to build that rapport, and Kirk knows what he likes with that, and I think that Sean McVay is that X factor. I think if we're talking, if Sean McVay didn't take that job, we might be talking about something different. I think this offense would still be high charged, but that's neither here nor there. We've got a couple of comments here. James Flores, HTTR, that's right, James. And then everybody's favorite RG3 fan, we'll get to him in a little bit here, saying his Browns have yet to win a game, and they probably won't. But yeah, that talk about lack of offense. But
they've scored. They scored more points in week 1 than we did.
That's true. That's true. And what's up, Tyree Sutton, YT? But yeah, but moving away from the offense, we gotta give this defense credit, boys and girls.
Oh, absolutely.
This defense is bending, not breaking. That's the most cliche thing you can say about a defense, but they really are. Minuski, I mean, he's doing these guys good. They kept the Rams in front of them, besides Rashad Breeland not knowing how to tackle, because there were a couple times he blew up on his assignments, and and he got posterized too. But for the most part, I think that this defense, I'm going to give them a B+, because they are worlds away different than what they were last year at this time. They're only giving up what is probably about 20 points a game, if I'm not mistaken, which is less than what they gave up last year. I know that much for a fact. After giving up, was it like 40? I don't remember how much was given up to Pittsburgh in week 1, but I know it's like 27 against Dallas. So, and they're not faltering when the offense puts them in bad situations, which the offense didn't do that this time like they did in week 1. But
at this point last year, the defense was giving up 32.5 points a game.
Yeah, that's cracked. That's cracked points right there. But now they're looking good. Hopefully this week, more of the same. Gurley did have probably one of his best games in his career against us, but they made
best game in his career. He had a good game for.
Yeah, I said one of them. I didn't say the best, but he had he had a pretty damn good game. If you want to give him credit, I will give my opponent credit. Huh?
So did Chris Thompson.
Yeah, Chris Thompson did have a good game. That's why he's my offensive player of the game. And Mason Foster, I give him. Yeah. He looked.
Foster, man.
Yeah. And he might not play. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, he might not play on Sunday. He's probably gonna that shoulder, which he popped back into place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for
But
those who don't know,
he
Mason Foster dislocated his shoulder in the game. He then went into the locker room, popped back into place, and made the game-clinching interception.
Yep, the one that I lost my voice on, and I'm still trying to get back. But can we talk about how fast Zach Brown is, though?
Sign that man.
Yeah, extend this man. Give him pay that man. This is the man who needs to be paid. If you don't want to pay number 8, pay number 53 because he. There was a couple of times that he saved touchdowns,
mm-hmm.
and he was the leading tackler. Had 8 tackles on the game for the Skins. I think he even caught up with Everett when he was getting ready to go to do his house call. And I think Everett, he's probably going to be one of the steals of the draft this past year. Him and the Cup kid from the third round. I think these, yeah, he came back and stopped him. One of the best effort plays that I've seen out of a Redskins defense. Probably since like Greg Blosh was.
Oh, best effort I've seen since Breland made that tackle on Doug Martin in the Tampa. And you like that game?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. I like it. I like it a lot. And Zach Brown and his band, they need to
give that man all the chicken fried.
Yes, give him all the chicken fried. Give him all the chicken fries that he wants. Got a couple of comments coming in. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and we're going to have some cold beer on Sunday night when we watch Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth. The offense, Tyree Sutton saying the offense is taking advantage of opportunities. I think you and I agree. Yeah, they aren't. This offense is, for lack of a better term, inept. I honestly think it's inept. Mm-hmm. Just from at least one side of it. The running game, not so inept. The passing game, very inept, which makes for a below average offense. Nowhere in the world you're going to be a $24 million quarterback throwing for $179 on a game. And then Redskins Pride, WGIL, sounds like a radio station. Do we foresee a package that includes Kerrigan, Smith, and Gillette?
I think they do plan on doing that at some point.
Yeah.
Because what they really wanted to do was move Smith around inside a little bit on some packages, on some third downs, and have Gillette and Kerrigan rush the edge with inside rushing in.
So it's like Christmas. It's probably coming. But and we move on. Yeah, winter is coming. Well, they've already had the season finale of Game of Thrones, which I have not gotten into that show, so don't tell me about it.
Well, there's winter.
There you go, and it's coming. We put a bow on this game, 1-1. That ever important. If you start out 0-1, you need to win that game to keep hope alive, as Jesse Jackson says. And hope is still alive in Washington. Whether it's false hope or not, I'm glad that the Skins won, but I'm still uneasy about the future of this team and looking at future opponents down the road, especially this AFC West sandwich that we're getting ready to play.
Except for the San Diego Chargers of Los Angeles.
Yes, of Inglewood, where they can't even fill out a 30,000. That's another thing. Am I wrong for thinking this? I thought there were more Redskins fans at the Coliseum than Rams fans. I
was supposed to be at that game, but I had to get my ticket up, and just all I saw there was red, and I was just like, "Well, the seats are red, but also those are Redskins jerseys."
Yeah,
Any Redskins fans in California?
There you go. That's right. That was exciting there. Um, and I just thought I'd bring that point up. And as we move on to the news of the week, as it is Wednesday, um, there's a lot of drama going on. As you know, DC. That's how the Redskins operate. It's always going to be drama. Stuart Cravens, Tony Wiley and company released a statement saying that that Stuart is going to be put on the shelf for the rest of the season so he can contemplate if he wants to play football again. So he will not participate. Although it was reported that he was going to show up today and take part in team activities and get back up to speed. That is not the case. And
well, funny thing is, he was in Los Angeles Saturday, but he was
right.
not at the game Sunday, not even in attendance.
Yeah, and I will tell you this: I actually talked to someone who worked for the Redskins as an intern, and they brought up a point of saying that he's young. He's very young. He may be a little immature. These aren't their words exactly, but the young part is their words. And I said, I piggyback on that. I said, just the immaturity level. And they agreed, and they said, yeah, that's where they were kind of getting at. But I think that's the case. That Snapchat video from a couple weeks ago didn't really show the best quality of and I'm not here to judge the guy's character, but I mean, if you're looking at it, if you're trying to hire somebody for a job and you see them doing stuff like that, you're not going to hire them. I just think he needs to figure out, is this worth it? Does he really want to do it? Now that's soft. That he's soft. If I talking about what we just talked,
tub of margarine.
Yeah, he really is. He is soft like Country Crock. I'm stuck calling him Country Crock Cravens. And he melts and he sticks to the butter when it gets heated up. But I just think that this was a failed experiment. I think the Redskins are going to chalk this one up as an L with this, and I'll say it, this failed 2016 draft class. You have Fuller, who plays okay. You have the Itis, who's been coming on, and I apologize to the Itis because I thought that he really wasn't. I was talking about cutting this man in the preseason, and he's played really well. But I digress.
From showing that he has the itis to giving people the itis.
That's right. This is true. But I don't know, Amir. Am I wrong in how I feel about Stuart Cravens? And I think he's soft, and that's the way I see it. When I look at a textbook definition of soft, how this guy has come out, he's soft. soft. Soft.
I agree, but also we don't know what state mentally he's in. Right. Thinking about it now, me being 28, I'm about the same age as Kirk Cousins, right? Mm-hmm. And it's hard to still believe that the people that are in the NFL now, they're my age or they're younger, which is kind of a weird thing.
Exactly.
Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, who's still freaking and knowing all the problems that our generation has had of just going through mental illness and depression becoming such a huge factor in life. We put out an awareness ad, so to speak, at the end of one of our videos a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And go ahead, we'll link that number again in the description, for a suicide hotline. If anybody's having trouble, please reach out.
Right.
And we don't know if it's something mentally going on with him, if he has some major depression issue, and that he's just wanting to get himself healthy, just to a point where he just wants to live, not where he doesn't give a crap about football. He wants to just get out of bed during the day.
Right.
Well, we don't know if he's at that point or if it's the fact that he just doesn't want to play football. If the NFL is too tough for him, we don't know all that. And you know, to call him soft, to be fair, as far as his toughness goes, because him having to get glasses after his concussion last year, and
Right.
so. But again, we don't know where he's at mentally.
Right. True.
That's
And
my stance. That's my stance behind it.
right. And when I say that, I'm not looking at it through that lens. And you bring up a great point that especially with our generation, and bringing that, and then it is a point that when if you come from the old school of thought that men aren't supposed to show mental illness, so or that it's the men can't be depressed, and whether that is something, and that's something that's not fair, because that everybody struggles with depression in some form or fashion, whether it's about the bills, whether it's about somebody you love, whether it's just about going into work at time. You do have some there are those challenges there. I think it's best for him to take it. It's good. I think the team is actually doing him a favor. I don't have anything wrong with what the Redskins did, because they have to cut their losses. Let him get healthy. If he wants to come back in 18, he's more than welcome to come back. But if not, cut the losses. Let him go out there, but always leave that lifeline out to him. I know they said that D'Angelo Hall was supposed to be checking on him and everything like that. But I think football is just a game. At the end of the day, it's just a game.
Right.
Unless you're from Texas, it's a way of life. But it's a game. You got a lot to live for. You're 22, 23 years old. You got an education. You can go out there and make anything you want of yourself in the way that what was it, 99% of the people that were scanned for CTE that donated their brains to science in the NFL, they had CTE on the brain. So I mean that's a scary thought. You look at Chris Bolin from the 49ers a couple years ago. Guy was young, a pretty good talent. He was like, no, says I'm done with this. And you got to respect. I think it takes a bigger man to step away from the game and realize that, hey, I've got bigger and better things planned out for myself than winning a quick million and then probably having to spend my later years in a wheelchair or not being able to think straight or anything like that. So, I mean, that is something to behold, and something to really think about. And I mean, like I said, I didn't think of it in that lens until you really broke that down for me. So I thank you for that, because I think sometimes you don't, as a fan, sometimes you don't look at it from that perspective. You're looking at it from, well, this guy, he's just giving up on the team. But I'll leave it at that in that respect. But I do think we move on, because I think we've got a trend going on here. And best wishes to Sue Cravens, whatever he decides, wholeheartedly. But with that being said, let's talk about somebody who really is soft. This has just been the soft awards. I'm going to have to go and get some ice cream after this. Santana Moss is not soft. Santana Moss is yes. He is a legend. He is one of my favorite Redskins. I love 89. Hopefully one day they will hang him up in the Ring of Honor. He is the best Redskins receiver of our generation. I'm talking about us kids growing up, watching him in the early 2000s. He's a cowboy killer. And I think that he was never Santana's never been flashy. He's been all about. He's a very direct, but he's a very humble guy. And you can see that if you follow him on Instagram or anything like that. He's about his family, his kids. You know, and he's loyal to his people, like Clinton Portis. He's loyal to Sean Taylor and all his teammates in Washington. But he got on there with Chad Dukes on 106.7 The Fan, which I think Amir might be the spokesboy for out there in California. But you might have to call Chris Russell and see what he thinks about that. At least now. But he talked about a former quarterback that was drafted second overall by the Redskins in 2012. I don't really know what his name was, a kind of outside, out of mind type thing, but talked about how he relished in
it was Robbie, wasn't it?
The firing. Robert Griffin the third, something like that. We'll call him RG. Yeah, RG crap for short. But we keep on hearing things about this, and I hate going back talking about this damn guy. Every time, it's always something. I'm just going to get it out here now. I get so damn mad every time we sit here and we talk about Robert Griffin III. The guy has not been on the team for the last this is his second season now on the team, but yet we keep on talking about this damn guy. We know what he is. He's a piece of shit. I will say it like that. He is a piece of shit. I don't care what anybody says. Robert Griffin III, if you defend Robert Griffin III, you're either his family or you're on drugs, because this guy is the most arrogant piece of crap that I have seen come through Washington since Dan Snyder. That's why they got along.
Not Donald Trump, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, politics aside here, if you can entertain me for a second.
All right.
He talks about Santana Moss betraying him.
Yeah.
Santana Moss has been, like, if you look at some of the stuff he said in recent years, he doesn't say it without a grain of truth. There's a grain of truth there. And you come out in the media and you look like an ass, as Robert did when he was in Washington. He's talking about people lying on him. I'm like, okay, one rumor, there's smoke. Two rumors, you might want to go check the kitchen for a fire. Three rumors, the damn house is burned down. It's a point that this guy, he keeps on doing, he doesn't get the picture. That's why he said he was voted a captain in Cleveland, and he's voted a captain in Washington. Yeah, that might have been the case. Maybe you prove what, but why didn't you get re-signed in Cleveland this year? If you earned that C-patch the way you did, it's something there that you're not getting. And he keeps on doing, know your why. Apparently you don't know your why, because your why is to play football and take care of your daughter, who we didn't, or daughters now, who we didn't even know we didn't even know about Reese for the longest time after him and this new girl got married. And, you know, if you go back and look at Robert Griffin III, you might want to do some digging on some of his characters. He's got a good PR team, boys and girls. I'm not going to throw any crap out there on him, but he's got a good PR team, because I've read some stuff about Robert Griffin III, and I've heard things about Robert Griffin III that this is a charade. And Santana Moss, to call him out on his character, you come on, bro. Robert Griffin III. We know you didn't get along with Mike Shanahan. I'm not saying you should have gotten along with him, but when he benched you at the end of the 13th season, yeah, you had reason to be mad as hell, and you probably were happy that he got fired. But then you found out you got Big Jay Gruden, and who's still there? Jay Gruden's still there. And where are you at? You're watching football with me and Amir now.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else. So I just think, oh, it makes me so mad. But
He's watching the guy who was drafted 100 spots behind him. That's what he's doing.
Exactly. The guy who was drafted behind him because, excuse me, the fail-safe plan for the Redskins. And he's played better than him. Quarterbacks that came after him have played better than him. If you want to talk about Tannehill, if you want to talk, hell, you can talk about Osweiler. Of course, Russell Wilson is the best quarterback out of that draft.
Other than Andrew Luck, yeah.
Hey, he's better than Andrew Luck, I think, by far. But I'll leave it at that. Amir, I'll let you. I'll give you the podium to discuss maybe what I'm thinking about here, because it just makes me mad that we still talk about this scrub today and he's not even under contract with the team.
It pisses me off too. But the thing is, it's Washington sports. It's what happens. And unfortunately, we have to talk about it.
We do.
Can't just ignore it.
We have to talk about it. It's true.
And I trust everything Santana Moss is saying, because I really like Santana Moss' character. I have no reason not to. And he could have gone on and saying crap about Jay Gruden in the 14th season about him not playing as much.
Exactly, but he didn't.
Slot receiver, but he didn't. He didn't. So that's just football. It goes like that. I wasn't guaranteed it, and it's fine. Right. I'm okay with it.
You don't stay in a place for 11 years. You don't play in the NFL for 14 years, and without some body, you just can't get away with being a jackass that much. Whether there are the exceptions like your Terrell Owens and everything, but you can't really you don't get away with that after a while. And Santana Moss, consummate professional. He went in there to work. Had more losing seasons than winning seasons, but you can't beat this guy. He is a burgundy gold through and through. He is all about the Redskins. And some people might argue and say, well, counterpoint. He's loyal to the Redskins. He's out there to die. I don't think that's the case. And if you look at John Keim, he said that he tweeted today, or was it yesterday, said one thing he learned about Santana Moss, I'm paraphrasing this, that Santana never felt the need to go on the record. He was as professional can get, to go off the record. He said what he felt. And that sometimes it's not what people want to hear, and I'm holding pepper in my hand. I don't know why, but I might need to throw salt on this one. But I just think that you don't get away with talking about betraying and work ethic or anything. What the hell kind of work ethic? RG3 was talking about
bench sitting.
You had to learn a work ethic. Yeah, pretty much. You had to learn work ethic because they didn't show you bad plays at Baylor. They didn't have a playbook at Baylor. They had to dumb down the offense. Let's not even get started and act like you came in here as the great second coming. You had a good game against the New Orleans Saints, who had a terrible defense in 2012. You started out, and then after that, you went to only win 2 more games against Minnesota, and then I don't remember who the third team was in there with that over that first 9-game period. But then the team snaps off multiple wins.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it was Tampa Bay. That's right. Yep. So you're looking at this team. You're playing 2 crap holes of teams, and then an okay team if that during that season. Minnesota was a playoff team that year, but I just think that they had to dumb down the offense for you pretty much. And that was reported by multiple sources that they had to condense. Condense is the nice word. They dumbed down the playbook for you because you didn't get it. And and then you go on, put together this whole spectacle. You had a damn special on ESPN right before the 13th season about knowing your why and getting ready for 2013. Didn't even get in the preseason whatsoever. And then you come off, you lay an egg on Monday Night Football, you lay an egg in against Green Bay. Oh, and then you show up against the Raiders, who were terrible. Losing to Detroit and everything. Well, excuse me, it started out 0-3, and then they beat the Raiders. But I just think if you talk about work ethic, don't come at me with that crap, because if that's your best work ethic, I hate to see what bad looks like, and we saw it all the time. I digress. I'm sick of talking about this guy. He's a clown. I had hoped so much for Robert Griffin III. I really did. I thought he came in. He is the biggest con artist to come to DC. Good God, since
Eddie Murphy,
since Albert Haynesworth.
That's what.
Yeah. He's fabulous. Robert, he's just a big, huge, terrible fraud. Hercules. He knows his why.
I will say this. My dad is a huge RG3 fan, not because of skill. Because of, or lack of skill, rather, but because he thinks he's the smartest man on earth, that all he does is get a boo-boo, and he sits for 6 weeks making millions of dollars doing nothing.
He just described half the NFL.
Yeah.
He could describe Kirk Cousins, play halfway okay, and make $24 million. But as we move on, and I mentioned the team in there, the Oakland Raiders. That was the last time we actually played the Oakland Raiders, soon to be the Las Vegas Raiders. They play in a baseball stadium. They have a quarterback who is pretty good, who you are very familiar with. And they have a guy in a retired running back who's come back and is playing pretty well. They've got a good former Alabama receiver on offense. They've got a former coach interesting stat. Jack Del Rio coached for who before he came to? Who's he the head coach of before?
He was the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I want you to go do some. If you look at it, the last 3 coaches, including Doug Marrone, for the Jacksonville Jaguars, are head coaches in the NFL. Think about that.
Wait, what?
The last 3 coaches of the Jaguars are all head coaches in the NFL. Doug Marrone. Never mind. Excuse me. Last three out of 4. I'm sorry. I forgot Gus Bradley. But then you look at Mike Mularkey and Jack Del Rio.
Mm-hmm.
That'll blow your mind. That blew my mind. The fact that even last year it was like Gus Bradley, Mularkey, and Del Rio were all head coaches. And then Tom Coughlin too was. So I guess you want to be a head coach, you need to go to Jacksonville for a year or two. But
apparently,
the Raiders, they are 2-0 coming into this young season. They have looked pretty good. They went to Tennessee in week 1. They beat them by 10 points. Then they went home, hosted the Jets. Of course, they beat them soundly. They put them down like putting a baby to bed at night. This offense is really good. 75. Derek Carr's completing 75% of his passes. He's got 5 touchdowns, no interceptions on the year. So it's looking good. Marshawn Lynch 31 years old, but he's got 121 yards, but he gets important yards. He's that third down, not really third down, but he gets those short yards, and he's a grinder. He is a grinder. Jalen Rashad, he had a long touchdown run in this game against the Jets. They've got that movie star kicker. I cannot pronounce his name, but the guy who took over for Seabass. And then you got a good.
Mm-hmm.
They've got probably the most electric punter in the NFL after who kind of took that position from Pat McAfee and Marquette King.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got a good defense. Ken Norton Jr. has these guys going, flying to the ball, and doing their thing. This is a tough task for the Burgundy and Gold by any stretch of the imagination. This defense has only given up 3 touchdowns, one to the same, 2 to the same man, in Jermaine Kearse yesterday on Sunday. Sorry, and then our rushing touchdown to Marcus Mariota. You can't play like you played against the Rams if you're looking to win this ball game.
No, not at all. You got to play your best football. You have to play like you were playing against Green Bay last November.
Right. You have to come out there on Sunday night, and this is a national game. You have to be out. All the lights are brighter, and everybody's going to see you, and you don't want this game, especially when you're at home, to make you look bad. Redskins are already a punching bag when it comes to the media anyway. Come out there and show that you can do something. Kirk Cousins, you're going to have to come out here, show these people why you deserve the money that you want. You need to throw for 300-some yards, 3 touchdowns. I think that can get the job done. Rob Kelly, if he can do what he did last time they were on Sunday Night Football, where he had his coming out party, if he's healthy,
right.
Or even any of these other running backs, they come out there and do it. And if the defense can stop the number 1 scoring offense in the NFL right now for 2 weeks, I think there's a chance. But you can't play. You cannot turn the ball over. You can't fumble. Khalil Mack, he's like a shark. He's like a shark. Yes. He's like a shark to blood and water. He will come right after you. And if he senses fear, he will definitely come after you. And I make this joke. I say Kirk Cousins can't be racist because every time a big black man comes up to him, he's dropping the ball somewhere. So I think that we might need to hope he hangs on to the ball. And I think this game can come out on the plus side of things.
I'm going to bring something up a little bit from the past, a little bit from the 2015 season, all right? Bear with me here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kirk Cousins didn't start clicking in his mind, until they say, that you like that game, right? It was actually a little bit after that it started clicking more for him.
Right.
In the New Orleans game. That was the first game his dad got to go to after being medically cleared from going into remission into cancer.
Right.
He's a very family-oriented person, Kirk Cousins is. And he's been having to worry these past 2 weeks if he's going to have to leave a game in the middle of the game or not and go into labor any day. His wife's already 2 weeks past her due date. She was due on Monday. And according to both his Twitter feed, her Twitter feed, and Instagram pages, nothing's happened yet. So... So unless this kid is born before that game Sunday night may be a really, really long game for us.
Yeah,
he's worried about his wife, which is natural,
right? Of course,
about the person that you love when they're in a very vulnerable state like that. He was worried about his dad. He didn't start clicking in his head about being a really good until after his dad was in remission.
Exactly. So maybe when this kid is out, maybe his poor play will go into remission. Hopefully, we'll
That's what I'm
see
saying.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, another thing was Terrell Pryor. He came out today and said he's going to have a dominant season, and it starts this week against Oakland. Well, the season started 2 weeks ago, Terrell.
Butterfingers McGee, catch the ball.
Yeah, catch the ball, run after the catch. You are bigger than most of these people that are defending you. Jump up, catch the ball, run the ball. I'm not a receiver or anything, but it doesn't really seem that hard when you have that frame. And
No,
I I think, you know, these prior incidents before, pun intended, that there and play a game. Also, we get to see the video game playing David Amerson for the first time since he was cut for the skin. So, you know, maybe he's played this game on Madden a couple of times, and you know, he forgot. I don't think Perry Riley's on that team anymore, is he?
He might be.
I'll check that, but I don't. But it's a lot of this. Kind of is a very familiar game for the Skins, and looking at that, and looking at that sense. Stacey McGee is a former Raider. He will play against his former team for the first time since coming over to the Burgundy and Gold. So, and the Redskins, this is a must-win because next week, I honestly think, and if I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong. I always do. Next week, we're going to be talking about how the Redskins don't really need to play really, really bad against Kansas City in Kansas City on a Monday night. That's what I think the conversation is going to be. So you want to have a buffer because this game, if you look at it, I think there are 2 guaranteed L's on this year's schedule, and I said it was at Kansas City and it's at Seattle. I think those are 2 guaranteed L's. I just think, and well, now looking at Seattle and where they've been playing, it might not be out of the realm. It might be out of the realm of possibility now, but I think this is another one of those cliche must-win ball games. And Perry Riley does not play for the Raiders anymore, so that's good. But we'll see. You've got to exploit it. You have to win the time of possession game. Run the ball. Keep Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, and Marshawn Lynch off the field. Jared Cook, keep them off the field. Because the more we see those white jerseys and silver pants on offense with the football in their hand, the more opportunities you have to lose this game. The defense is much improved. This defense can't get into we can't get into a pissing match with the Raiders because they this game. I'm confident in it. But if you stay in your lane, don't turn the ball over, executes on third down, passing completion, get it up there in the 60s, and have over 50% on third down, you'll win the game. And you'll shut Chris Collinsworth up. And we'll be really happy, and we'll be talking about this on Warpath Wednesday next week about how the Burgundy and Gold beat the Raiders. And I got a trivia question. When was the last time the Redskins and the Raiders played in D.C.? Without looking.
Without looking.
Because I know this off the top of my head.
Let's see here. I'm going back to 2006.
You're a year off. They played on 05, yep. North Turner was the head coach. Kerry Collins was the quarterback. And one of the all-time greats was their wide receiver, when they started wide receivers, and Randy Moss. That was when Randy Moss was on the Raiders. And that was the last time they came and the Raiders won that game against the Burgundy Gold. And granted, the Redskins haven't lost to the Raiders since then, and the Redskins have won the last 3 out of 4 against Oakland. And in that respect, those 3 coming out in the Oakland Athletics ballpark. So we'll see. So we're going to play, actually, for the first time in a long time, the Redskins and the Raiders are going to play in the actual football stadium and not a baseball park. But I will leave that alone.
Do we want to open up the floor to any viewers for any questions?
Yeah, well, let's read some of these questions. Yeah, we do have a couple of Q&As here. We talked about the mental illness, Redskins pride, WGIL. I want to know where that is. You could make a radio station out of that. I like it. Mental illness is not like a sprain.
Redskins pride.
Radio. Mental illness is not like a sprained ankle. It doesn't heal from resting over the off season. That is a good outlook on that. I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's that is as blunt as you can get on that, and that's probably the most direct route explanation you can have, because like you said, when do you get over it? If you ever do get over it, or do you just live with it? That is, that's what a lot of people deal with. They live with it. And, like I said, we hope for the best for Stuart Cravens. And at the end of the day, this is just a game. This has no bearing on what you need, on who you are as a person or whatever. But, but best to him. And then Gus, one of the regulars on here. Could you imagine Santana Moss on one side and Art Monk on the other side? What a tandem! That would be a tandem. I think Santana Moss kind of reminds you of a little bit of a modern day Ricky Sanders or Gary Clark, but that would be mind blowing. And then Redskins pride said again, he said, does a healthy D Hall bring more value than using that spot somewhere else? Love him as a team guy, but he really doesn't represent the future. Amir, I will let you take this because I know what you're going to say.
No, yeah, I think D Hall is just past his prime. I love the guy. He's a great leader. He has a great veteran presence for the team. He's a great guy, but I think that because he's on PUP right now, so his roster spot is being used by somebody. So if he were to come, we would have to let somebody go. And Monte Nicholson was looking good Sunday, my boy.
He actually took Deshae Everett's spot. Yeah. God, he'll never let me live that down. I called that in the right round, in the right pick, and everything. He'll never let us live that down. Yeah. And then Chop Shop, one of our longtime viewers, he's just straight up fire. Hopefully that was on our RG3 conversation. I think that's when he put it in there. But we Redskins are on Sunday Night Football. The live stream will be a little late because I will be predisposed. But I will come home as quick as possible and set this thing up and have it ready to rock and roll, and breaking down the game. And we'll just have a good old time on Sunday Night Football, watching the Skins and the Raiders. This is a big game, whether it's an AFC game, so you like to win them all. But this is a game that you really want, especially with it being on national television. Got to come out here, got to play fast. This was a playoff team a year ago, a playoff team that kind of got gypped because Derek Carr wasn't there. I mean, and probably he's bad because he went to Fresno State. No, Derek Carr is a great quarterback who's won nothing but's got a promotion. got his contract. Wink, wink. Yes. And we got another question. And I think you already said this. Would you like to see Mac Brown this week? You said yes. I think we will see Mac Brown. Yeah, I think we'll see him this week. I don't think Rob Kelly will go, but I'd like to see big old Mac Brown playing, and just as a change of pace, and maybe he can pull a little carpe diem and everything. So we'll see. But we're gonna go here. We like I said, it's Warpath Wednesday, y'all. We do this. It's gonna be live every Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern time. So come on out, share your comments with us. We'll talk about everything that happened from the last game, looking to the future, and that's how we do it here. And if you love what we're doing, subscribe. We got a lot of subscribers coming in here, and we really appreciate it. I mean, this is a we don't claim to be geniuses or savants or offensive gurus or anything, as Amir would like to throw around. But we are two dudes just like talking about the Redskins, and we love to. And sorry, Amir, we keep on getting questions, so I'm not closing this out until we get these questions in here. Let's see. Chop. I just want to see them run the ball at least 30 times and throw 40. I hope to control the clock. Well, that would be nice, but I think we'd see maybe 15 runs and maybe about 55.
We'll probably at least see 40 passes, I think. And I think at least throw for 37.
At least, yeah. And William, I'm sorry if the audio is poor. I apologize. That's probably on my side. But I think we're good. I think we caught up on the questions. And hey, but we appreciate you guys coming in here, talking with us, hanging out with us. We are ready for the Raiders. It's going to be a big game, huge game, the best game, and we'll see. We will see if we're talking 2-1 or 1-2. Two very different sides. Everybody lost in the NFC East. The Cowboys lost. The Eagles lost. That was a good game to watch. And also the Giants lost on national television. It was a great day to be a Redskins fan, a great weekend, as we were the only ones, and we're tied for the lead in the NFC East. Well, half a game behind the Eagles, if you want to be politically correct, and the Cowboys, because they're 1-0 in the division. But, hey, things are looking up, and we will see. I will see you on Sunday, and we'll get ready for these Oakland Raiders. As always, love, peace, and hell, y'all, and we will be talking to you real soon. We're out.
Good night, all.